Well, hi, everybody, Dallas, Houston, and our yearly pilgrimage, if you will, through the forecast of a Brownwood Lion football season. We always do a preview show, and that's exactly what we're doing this evening with Sammy Burnett, the third-year head coach of the Brownwood Lions.
Sounds pretty good. They kept me that long.
You know, I've done these shows with the old man and with Randy and Steve Freeman and Chuck Howard and Mark Bachtel and Bob Shipley and Kyle and who did I leave out?
What you left out anybody?
I don't know, but anyway, and you're one of them.
That's amazing to me. I'm still humbled when I think about that kind of stuff, that I'm even mentioned in the lines of those kind of people.
Well, I'm thrilled that you're here, and I don't know how much longer I can make it, but I hope you make it a long, long time.
So do I.
A long time. You know, I obviously this is on live stream or whatever they call it, and I assumed we weren't going to have a table. I thought we were just going to have a couple of chairs, so I didn't write down any questions. So this isn't going to be terribly formal.
Good.
We'll just kind of shoot the bull.
I'm all about that, especially with you being in your presence, as special as it is.
So, how good are we going to be this year?
That's a good question. You know, we'll find out real quick Friday night. We have a great group of kids. I think if you look at the 3 years that we've been here as a coaching staff, we've evolved as a coaching staff to one that I envisioned when I came here to start. Guys of great quality, Christian men, great character, hard workers, great enthusiasm, and a great sense of urgency that are going to lead our kids day in and day out, not just during the football season, but throughout the course of the school year in all sports, and I think we have that in place. But I think the big thing for us is us figuring out who we are on Friday night and how we're going to play, what kind of physicality we're going to bring to the game. You know, that kind of stuff is the big question, I think.
You know, it looked like to me that last year you basically started out and had a team, a very close-knit group, a very cohesive group, and you know, it just looked like a team from the word go. This one still has to grow a little bit, doesn't it?
Yes, sir. You know, we have a lot of more youth on the team this year, so we'll have a lot of kids on the field Friday night. It'll be their first experience on the big stage. And, you know, if you look at last year's team, if you'd have told me last year that we were going to go 11-2, I would have said you were crazy. Our goal was to be over 500 before we got to district. And I think the big part of our season last year was knocking off a team in Brock that was ranked #1 at the time that nobody thought we could beat, but we believed we could. Our kids worked extremely hard. They put in the time. And like I tell the kids this year, it's the same, you know, potion. Work hard. Do what you're supposed to do, be a master at your craft, be extremely coachable, play for your brothers, and let the results happen. And that's the potion that we use, you know, every season. So for us, it's just another opportunity for us to go out there and compete and play hard and see where we're at. And what a better way to do it than against a top team in the state, whether they're ranked #1 or #3.
I would assume that one of the things that would help in that regard would be the fact that you almost have the identical coaching staff you had last year.
That's right.
At least on the varsity level.
That's correct in all levels on the boys' side. Stability is huge. And you know that just like your program has to maturate, so does your coaching staff. And you got to find the right personalities and the right fits. Unfortunately, we lost Chase Adams last year, who came with me from Farmersville, but his wife was promoted in her profession to a level that they couldn't turn it down. You're talking thousands and thousands of dollars. So they pretty much forced to leave because of that, because he couldn't turn it down for his family. And we're fortunate to get a quarterback coach in Preston Rabb, who has a little history playing against Brownwood, as well as a quarterback at Llano, and then was a quarterback in Canyon as well. So we only had to replace one person at the varsity or at the high school level, which is extremely important. You know, having a coaching staff that works well together, that's like a family. You know, building homes, buying homes in the community is important for me. We need stability as our kids need stability. Mm-hmm. So that's huge.
Yeah, well, and the coaches have to form a team just like the kids do.
Exactly right. If they see a division in the coaching staff, the team's going to be divided itself. Last year there wasn't a division. Our kids play together. It's just one big family, and every decision that we make, whether it's a coach or a player, affects us all, and we talk about that daily as well.
I want to go back to last year for one thing. Obviously, you had medical issues. I'm not one to make a lot of excuses, but I know it's easier to coach a team that's laser focused. And I got the impression that your team lost some focus because of what you were going through. Did you sense that as well?
I felt a disconnect, it seemed, because I'm an extremely passionate person. I know that comes out on the field. I think strength comes from that, and our kids see that. And I think that element may have been missing for both of us, because I was stuck in a press box and I was highly medicated, and I felt the disconnect myself, and I think that they might have felt that as well, just like going to school for the first day and your mom's not with you, and all of a sudden you're having to go lean on what you've been taught so far in life and try to persevere through the day, and mama's sitting at home struggling as well. I felt that little disconnect. Yeah. I wanted to be right there with the kids, so that was probably more difficult for me than for them. But I think that anytime you bust up that sense of normalcy, then there's going to be a little bit of doubt or questions.
If it'll make you feel any better, I've been heavily medicated in several press boxes.
Really?
You know, one of the great honors I've ever had was this man next to me. Back a few months ago, came by my house and gave me an official Brownwood Lion helmet. A white one, a real one. And I think you know how much it meant to me. But then I go out and I watch a couple of scrimmages and I see somebody, who was it, Slade Espinoza, in a maroon helmet. And you know, the only thing I could think of, Sammy's gonna come get my helmet to give it to Slade.
I'd never do that. I'd never do that. That helmet was well deserved, should have been given a long time ago. And don't think that didn't bother me too, but for some reason, Rydell being the company that they are, they don't produce enough helmets, so we ran out of extra larges and they couldn't get them to us for a couple of weeks. But I promise you this, he'll be wearing a white one Friday night.
You know, Gordon Wood, and I know you know this, had a philosophy. And he said, we always try to open up with the toughest opponent we can find. Most of the years that he was at Brownwood, starting in '63, it was Abilene Cooper. And we won a couple of state championships, and that's the only game we lost.
Right.
And so people would say, Gordon, why don't you get somebody easier so we can go undefeated? And he said, you know, I always like to start with the toughest opponent I can find, because they will show you what you're doing wrong, and they'll show you if you've got personnel in the wrong places. Is that kind of your thinking?
Exactly. If you want to be the best, and we've said it before, you got to play the best. But how do you know until you play that caliber of team? They're going to expose your weaknesses. They're going to show you your strengths, and sometimes you're going to find out you're a lot better than you thought you were, or you have a long ways to go. But what a great measuring stick at the first of the year to see where you're at. And I know that a lot of people get wrapped up in wins and losses and that kind of stuff too. Sure, I want to win as much as anybody, and there's not a greater competitor than I am, but our mission is still to raise and grow young men. Football is a tool we use to do it, or athletics is a tool we use to do it. And facing adversity and watching kids grow and develop into something that they didn't even realize that they could become is really the goal in what we do as a coaching staff, and that's our mission. So for us to play a Bland Passus and then turn around and play a Midland Greenwood who went to the semifinals last year as well is going to give us an opportunity to show our kids what level we need to get to and what level we need to play at, and it gives them a measuring stick, because if you start the year, there's not many teams. There's been some that have been blessed enough to really think at the first year they were going to play for a state championship, but it's always the unknown, the what if, why not me? Well, if you can teach a kid this is a level you got to get at, and where we're at, whether we're right there with them or we're a little lower down the scale, or maybe we're just above them, we can realize the potential that we possibly can have. And it gives you fuel to work and to grind through those hot summer days, after school, and to work to reach the goal that you want to accomplish.
We talked a while ago about a team losing focus. How tough is it right now with the virus thing going on to keep your team focused on what they can control?
Right. It's just a day-to-day. We can control if we wear our mask or if we're doing what we need to do to social distance, so to try to keep the virus from our family. And I tell the kids, we can only control what we can control. Don't worry about the rest. Let's just work on today and do what we're supposed to today and become better today so that we have a better tomorrow. And that's sort of what we focus on. And to be honest, Dallas, we've lost a couple of kids that were in association with the virus, didn't have it, but were in close enough proximity that they aren't going to be able to play on Friday night. And that hurts our team, because that's a part of our family that we expected to be there. It's not there. But for us, it's the next guy's got to step up and wear that cloth and fulfill the goal that he has to make the Brownwood Lions great.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the team. I'll let you start with the coaches if you want to.
Sure. David Jones again is assistant head coach, and he's in charge of the defense. Right there close beside him is Brett Mauser, who came from Brenham. Is not a Brownwood guy, but he's a Brownwood prodigy. He was with Glenn West for 17 years, and if you can work with Glenn and understand Glenn, then you can work for anybody, and you're going to be a very good professional and outstanding coach. But he coaches our secondary and is our defensive coordinator. David coaches our inside linebackers. Derek Stacks has his second stint at Brownwood, coaches our outside linebackers. Absolute phenomenal at technician and being a master at your craft and teaching those outside linebackers the techniques, and he'll take anybody you give him and he's going to turn them into a great outside linebacker, great disciplinarian. And then you got Darren Bailey, who coaches our cornerbacks and does a great job with those kids. Every one of those coaches know their position inside and out, and the majority of them, if not every one of them, have been defensive coordinators or head coaches at some point, and we're truly blessed to have that type of staff that has that much experience. There's no replacement for that experience. And Jesse Villalobos coaches our D-line, and he's an exception to the rule. He's a second-year coach, but he grew up sort of in the same kind of background that I grew up in. He really had to work and fight for what he was going to get, and it's given him the tools he needs to be successful. He is a very professional coach. He's a student of the game. He's always asking questions. He's always gaining knowledge, and he's been a true blessing for us on the defensive side. So he coaches our defensive line. Then you turn it around on the offensive line. We got Jeff Huff, who coaches our outside receivers, our X's and Y's. He's been a coordinator before himself. You have Andy Howard, who coaches our slot receivers. He's been a head coach, a defensive coordinator. He's now our offensive coordinator, and to tell you how much I believe in them and him, for the first time in 17 years, I'm going to turn the play calling over to him. Extremely hard worker, diligent worker, always finding the best place to put our kids for success. And so my role has changed. It's a role I've been looking to get to, and to be a part of a staff that would allow me to do that, and I'm going to be the guy that calls the shots. So if we score a touchdown, I called it. Not really. And then you got Brian Clark, who coaches our running backs. man, he's such a professional. Does a great job. Very mild-mannered guy. Gets his point across. Never worry about what those guys are going to do, because he's just, I mean, they're all masters of their craft. And then you have Dex Denard, who was a lineman at Odessa High. Started his career there, did everything we could to get him. Good Lord willing, made it work that we could get him. The kids love him to death. He's the leader of that belly bunch, and they take their pictures after every game, and those linemen love him. And that's the heartbeat of our team. There couldn't be a more important coach to me and a more important group than our offensive line. But when I look back at what I was a part of, it took me a long time to realize what a special staff that I got to play for. And you could just go down the list. Yeah. And then I look now, and as I'm just looking around watching our practices and the day-to-day goings-ons, from the walkthroughs to the weight rooms to every aspect of the day, I look around and go, and you know what? I'm blessed enough to be put in a place where I'm getting to experience what some of those coaches got to experience, just a high-level coaching staff. And I was talking to David the other day, and I said, you know what? I can promise you this. We won't be out-coached.
Amen. Same trainer.
Yep. Kurt Cameron, who is awesome.
Yeah.
He's so awesome that I got something going on with my elbow with a little tendon, and I was watching the volleyball game yesterday or day before yesterday when it was, and I missed my icing session, so he came out and wrapped my arm right in the middle of the gym. So he's good. He keeps our kids on the field, and he has their health as his number one concern. And even if I'm arguing with him or bucking him, he stands firm and he does what's best for those kids.
Amen. I'm going to show you how a real professional operates.
Okay.
Smooth. Hey, do we have a commercial break in this thing?
No, sir.
No, okay. That's how you handle this. Just keep rolling. All right. Now, the good part, or at least what we hope's the good part. Tell us about the players. Start on whichever side of the ball you want to, or start with the kicking game. But let's find out the kids that are going to make it happen.
Well, defense wins championships.
There you
go. So let's talk about our defense.
All right.
Let's look up front. We have Chris Hobbs, captain. Played nose guard for us, did an extremely good job that we've moved to defensive end. I think he's going to do a spectacular job. He's quick off the ball, very strong kid. I think he's going to cause problems for the opponent. Nose guard, we have Tyler Tyner, who's coming off of a broken ankle, and Zach Bond, two totally different body types. One's big, strong, hard to move. The other one's skinny and lightning fast and quick to get through the gap. Sort of reminds me of my older brother back when he played. He was a little bitty guy, but extremely quick and cause habits because he could get in the backfield and cause some commotion to pullers. And then on the other side we have Spencer Skull, who is an offensive lineman that we converted to a defensive end this year. Extremely smart young man, and just is extremely coachable, which is allowing him a great opportunity to get on the field and play. Picked up the position well, still learning the position. He's playing faster every day. Outside linebackers, we're going to kick it off with Hunter Day, another extremely hard-working kid throughout the course of the year, multi-sport athlete, plays outside linebacker and also plays a little receiver for us. Then Kay Jatan will be the outside linebacker on the other side. On the outside, I think I said on the outside, so we could edit that, but we can't. Inside, we're going to start the twins, Colin and Dryden Anderson, sophomores. Very athletic. When Coach Jones and Coach Mauser and the defensive staff and I talked, what we expect from those kids wasn't there at the start. They're young. They're having to learn a scheme that is much more in detail than what they've been playing at the junior high freshman level. So as every day goes by, you see that athleticism pick up because their knowledge is picking up. So really excited about what they're going to offer for the next 3 years at linebacker on the inside. And then, of course, in our back end, it's held down by Kyron Deal and Rashad Henderson. Cornerback and free safety, both extremely physical, extremely fast, extremely smart, get us in the right positions, making sure we're in the right coverages, and really expect great things out of them. Our other cornerback on the defensive left side will be Malachi Ravada. a kid that was with us as a youngster, moved away and has returned back home to Brownwood. A special kid, very smooth in what he does, and very smart. So he's picked up the system well. And our free safety will be our strong safety will be another sophomore in Jordan Leach. So he's another extremely good athlete. You know, and like I say, you know, you may take your lumps as they're growing. You hope that you don't, but you may. But watching them grow and seeing what you're going to have in the future and what they can provide right now to a varsity team that needs them is really important.
Yeah, I was sitting here counting as you went along. I think 3 of your 4 linebackers are sophomores.
That is correct.
But good ones.
Yes, sir.
Good ones. All right, let's go to offense.
All right, we'll turn around and go the
Or
other
the
way.
kicking game, whatever you want to
Well,
do.
let's go offense first. All right, let's see. We'll go right to left. The heartbeat of the team.
Right.
Jimmy Brown, right tackle. Awesome kid. Grinder, works hard every day and is constantly joking. He keeps you live and on your feet to a point where you got to calm him down just a little bit. But he enjoys life, and he's a good football player with a lot of confidence. Slade Espinosa, sophomore, will start at the right guard. A young man that I've seen grow from just the off season before the corona pandemic hit, from his mentality in the weight room to where he is now. I've seen him mature a great amount through the summer, and even told him in the summer, if you continue to work like you're working, the Lord's blessed you with the ability to play at the highest level that you can right now. And he's just taken that and ran with it and has done an extremely good job. Our center is still Ethan Messina. 5 foot nothing, but got I think 4.5 foot of that's heart. That boy can play football. He's a really, really good center for us, and I enjoy the fact that when he runs out on the field, people look at him, and then when you go back and watch film, all he does is just wear people out. Probably the strongest kid we have returning is Brad Robinson. He's going to play right guard for us, and at times may have to play some tackle, but very strong kid, knowledgeable of the system, helps get those linemen in the right place, making sure they're making the right checks. And then Jared Northcutt will start at our left tackle. He's another 6'5" kid, big frame, long wingspan, so hopefully those big boys will help protect when we drop back to pass and make those outside rushers run the long way around. At wide receiver, we got Kyron Deal starting at the Y, our tight end position, if we go to a tight end, and he'll split wide out as well. Our Z is still Dane Johnson, who did a good job for us last year. We're expecting great things out of both of them. Very explosive young men, 6 foot, 6'3", maybe 6'1", somewhere in there, and 6'3", but they can blow the top off of you if you want to try to press up on them, and yet they're delicate enough to run crisp routes and get up underneath in zones. And then on the Z is the old school wingback, and then the F would be our sniffer fullback, and we're blessed this year to have a young man in Elias Huerta who's going to be able to play the slot receiver, but we can go to old school fullback, or what we call a sniffer set now, by just moving him around. So he's a multi-talented kid, thicker kid, physical, runs pretty well, runs great routes, and then a little dynamite in the Z. In the X is Jason Jackson, another sophomore, but that kid is electric. And I think you saw just a glimpse of what the potential that he has in the scrimmage against Godley. He's an outstanding young man. Boy, can he scoot. And he has amazing hands. So I look to see him doing great things in the future as well, but he's going to be dynamic. At the quarterback, we're going to start with Blaze Espinosa, senior. Experience. Felt going into this game that we needed somebody that had taken snaps on Friday night, and we feel that can operate the offense, so he's going to get the first run at that. And then behind him is Chance Jones, another sophomore. Extremely athletic young man, has a good arm, just doesn't have the experience that Blaze has. Was our starting quarterback on our freshman team last year, broke his collarbone and only got to play in 2 high school games, so he's coming into his sophomore season with the opportunity to be at the varsity level, only playing 2 high school games. That tells you the kind of athlete he is. He's also the son of Coach Jones, so if that tells you anything, the bloodlines there are strong. He also plays a little outside linebacker for us, but you'll see him taking some snaps Friday night as well. Our other quarterback is Baylor Tidwell. Baylor has been out for the most of this week with some sinus-related issues and some congestion, nothing to do with the pandemic, just got sick, so he's been out, but he's another quarterback, senior. He also plays outside linebacker for us that we can put in there and have reps. And for us at the quarterback position, over the course of the 5 preseason games, we're going to find the guy that meshes the most with the team, and that offense is out there, and that it's able to pick up and run the system that we need run, or maturate himself into the system that we provide for that person.
All right.
Got a running back I got to tell you about.
Yeah, I hope.
Oh, number 7, Rashad Henderson. Rashad could have started last year for us, but we're blessed to have Reese Rogers, and everybody knows how Reese was. It was a great running back for us, great vision. Rashad's the same way, but he brings a little bit more of a physical attribute to the position. He's not afraid to truck you, but he also has great lateral movement. He's got a great burst, great top end speed. So I think we're really blessed in that area. And also behind him is Cade Jaton, another guy that can run really fast and is a physical type kid. So all in all, I think we're got a good opportunity to grow those young men and help maturate them as a team and be successful. As of now, kicking game wise, that's Blaze Espinosa. He's going to be our kicker, an extra point, and he's also a punter. Punts the ball extremely well, and I think we'll do well in the kicking game.
Okay. You were mentioning somebody had allergies. In this day and time. I would think any time you get a phone call or somebody doesn't show up at school, you kind of panic, because the first thing you're going to think of. So it's almost a relief when you say somebody has allergies or an upset stomach or whatever.
Yeah, and it's true. I mean, if you look at anything that normally happens to us, you get a sore throat, you got a headache, fever's not common, but sometimes when you get sick or you have allergies, you can get a fever. If you start getting the flu type symptoms, you get a fever. If you have diarrhea or any vomiting, anything like that comes across as just some form of what we've known in the past is just a regular ailment. Yep. Now they're trying to see if that's something related to COVID. But the rule says this: if it's something like Baylor is a good example, and so is Blaze. Blaze missed the scrimmage because he has chronic strep. Well, that's something that was common to him, so when he got it, he knew that it's probably strep. He went to the doctor. The doctor said, no, you're negative for strep. So he went ahead and went and took the COVID test, and he was negative. So we left him out a couple of days just to make sure he was fine, and then Baylor's in the same position. Baylor has allergy issues. He has that comes with sore throats and drainage and congestion and headaches, as do I. And for him, it's just knowing him going to the doctor, and the doctor saying that's what it is and going. But I can promise you this, there is a scare in there, and it's not necessary for the fact that we may lose a kid for 10 to 14 days. It's how it will impact the total program and not just the football team. I'm talking the school district. So, yeah, there's a scare in the air, and nowadays anything they're going to try to relate to COVID.
Sure. And I'm not sure I've ever seen a football season, I don't recall one where you had that 1 week where the coach would come to you and say, we got some flu running through the team. And it's almost like every year, every team has a little bit of that locker room contagious stuff.
That's right.
But again, you have to look at it differently now.
You do. It's real simple. The first year I was here, we had some kind of stomach bug that went through all of our kids at all levels, and we had kids falling out every day, and we couldn't understand what it was going on, and we worked through that. And then last year we had the flu bug, and we had a lot of kids having to be at home and missing workouts and doing everything they can to get back to where they could play on Friday night at all levels. And this year it's not the flu or it's not a stomach bug, it's a more serious, disease with the COVID without a vaccine for it, but there's so much unknown about it that it scares people to the fact that everything that happens that's not normal as in health, we're going to try to tie it to COVID. And the health department comes out every day with different policies and that kind of stuff, because it's something that we're all learning about. I'm 51 years old, and this is the first pandemic I've ever gone through, so
I'm 78. And it's the first one I've ever gone through.
So, and like I said many times, in situations like this, it's easy to get upset. It's easy to get concerned. But the bottom line is this: the good Lord has a plan. Go out and live that day like you should live it. and let him take care of it. We're going to be fine.
Amen.
We're going to be fine. Let's just do what we can do and what we know to do, and let's don't worry.
You talked when you first came here about developing a culture.
Mm-hmm.
And I can see your culture now. But I see it more than just the varsity. I see it on the JV.
Mm-hmm.
I see it on the freshmen. And I trust you that it's probably in the 8th grade and the 7th grade as well. Are you happy with the culture that's developed at this point?
I am. I really am. Going back from the past, when I got here to start, there were some things that really concerned me, and we addressed them. It all starts with your coaching staff. I promise you, again, from the boys to the girls side, from the high school to the junior high, we're unified in what we are and what we stand for and what our policy is and what our purpose is. Our purpose is to use athletics as a tool to mold young people. Our purpose is to teach young people how to be winners, how to persevere, how to have character, how to have empathy, and to live your life in a servant's way. And I truly feel if you teach that to kids, what do they become? Winners. And what is the result of a winner? They win. People ask me all the time, what is a scenario? How do you get your teams to win? And I tell them real simple. I've been blessed by God with the ability to relate to young people.
Amen.
I act crazy. I put my arm around them. I'll walk up to them and kiss them on the cheek. And that may be different for some of them, but eventually they know that I love them and that I care for them, and I'll do anything in the world for them, as will any of our coaches. And in return, they're willing to do whatever they can in the world to help you. And we talk to them all the time, and we tell them all the time, you don't go to sleep tonight until you affect someone's life around you in a positive way. And if we can do that, we're making a difference. And that's how we win on Friday nights. Mm-hmm. And we teach them how to work and grind for anything you want in this world. If you want it bad enough, you can have it. And if it was worth having, it's worth working for. And nothing that's worth having is easy. You got to grind, because the other side of the grind is greatness. And that's what I want our kids to be able to experience on Friday night. It has nothing to do with us as a coaching staff. It's to see them, the young men and the young women in our programs, be successful, and the smile on their faces because they know that hard work and the hours upon hours upon hours of struggle that they put in, they've been rewarded for. Delayed gratification. Something that we all need to learn, I think, now. That this day and age is delayed gratification.
Before we move out of here, you mentioned a moment ago that before last season started, you said, I looked at that team and I said, I would have been happy if they fill in the blank. What about this year's team? You'll be happy if they accomplish what?
I'll be happy if they reach their potential. And, for us, if you look at wins and losses, I really can't predict that right now. We're still trying to find ourselves as a team. And as I said earlier, I remember sitting after a ABC club meeting with Brad Jeton in the parking lot at the Brownwood Country Club, and we were talking, and honestly, we were not knowing who we were and what we're about until we had played that Brock team. If we could finish 3-2, I'd have been happy, and praying we could be 2-3. I wasn't fearing some of the teams that beat us the year before as much as I was fearing the teams that beat us. And like I said, going into that first game and our kids playing with so much passion, and like I said, not playing for themselves but playing for someone else. That's the greater. That's where the reward comes, playing for their teammates, playing for the coaches, playing for the families, playing for the cloth. The tradition that Brownwood is, and knowing the burden that they have to be successful. Once they accomplish that goal in beating Brock when no one figured they would, they realized they could be special, and it made them buy in more. My hope and prayer is for this team is to have success early, so that they can experience what it means and what it takes and the reward they can receive if they continue to grind. The most difficult thing as a coach is to keep trying to keep a team focused that hadn't had a taste of success. So our goal is to try to get some success early, and hopefully it's against one of those top-notch teams so that we can see we can play with anybody and we can continue to grow the program.
One of the toughest schedules from game 1 to game 10 that I've ever seen. I think it includes, 7 or 8 playoff teams, and I think 6 of those went at least 2 rounds deep. Is this the toughest top to bottom schedule you've ever been a part of?
It's the toughest I've ever been a part of. You know, I've played in schedules where I played the state championship team and maybe a team that's gone to the semifinals. But I would think, you know, I just thought that the last 2 years was a tough schedule. This one's gotten a lot tougher, you know, but what an opportunity for us to go out and just have fun and enjoy it. You know, and for the fans, I mean, every night is the Super Bowl. If you want to look at it that way, every night is a deep round playoff game because you're playing the likes of Lampasas and Midland Greenwood, and then you're playing China Springs, who's returning 8 on offense and 7 on defense. Already a pretty good little rivalry, a team that's expected to do well in 4A Division II now. And then you play a Burnett team who's coming into the season with what they feel is going to be one of their best years in a long time. And then you face a Wiley team that's got new leadership, and they're going to have a little fire. It's going to be their first game. They're going to be excited about getting to play and ready to go. And then we get a little break, and then you run the gauntlet. And I mean the gauntlet with a Midlothian Heritage team that's extremely well coached, got great athletes on the team, gone 3 rounds deep the last several years. And then you get to, you know, butt faces again with La Vega, who is without a doubt having their strongest team as they have had in the last 5 or 6 years with that senior class that they coming back. I think they lost 1 or 2 kids from last year's team. But you know what's good about that is we played them. We know what to expect. Let's just go play. Let's go play and believe in you, you know. So you have them, and then you're going to turn around and come home and play a Alvarado team that gave us everything that we could, you know, take in the second round of the playoffs last year. And then Waxahachie Life is a charter school that, you know, they may be a little down 1 year, and the next year they have 4 D1 athletes, so you never really know what to expect from them. And then we'll top it off with, you know, one of the biggest rivalries in the state of Texas, the 377 battle with Stephenville. So there's not really much breathing room.
All right, Sammy, I think we've run out of time. May have run over time.
Well, time well spent with you.
What do you want to? What else do you want to say?
You know, once again, I appreciate the community and everything that they bring to our kids. They truly support in a way that most people don't understand. They really don't understand the closeness that the Brownwood community has for their kids and for the school. And, you know, just the continued support. And always remember, we always want to get wrapped up in wins. Our goal is to get our kids to play at the highest potential they possibly can. And if they're doing that and they're using the talents that the Lord has given them to the fullest, that's enough. We want to get to district and we want to win the district championship. If we don't accomplish that goal, then by golly, let's go win a by-district championship. And, you know, we break it into 3 seasons. And those kids are going to go out there and battle. They're going to put in the time. They're going to do the best that they possibly can. I just simply ask you to support them, period.
Amen. Sammy, thanks.
Thank you.
Enjoyed it. And that's it for the Brownwood Lion preview show for 2020. And until we meet again, Dallas, Houston, so long, everybody.